Welcome everyone to Your Dream, Your Team, Creating Career Pathways for Students with Disabilities. I'd like to introduce you to all of our speakers for this session. Maria Lombardi, Disability Resource Coordinator at Hempstead Works, Kathy DeAngelo, Disability Resource Coordinator at Chenango-Delaware-Otsego Workforce Development, Alan Sessions, Disability Resource Coordinator also at Chenango-Delaware-Otsego Workforce Development, and Mary McLaughlin, Disability Resource and Workforce Development Specialist at Tompkins Workforce, New York. I'd also like to thank our closed captioner for being here today. I encourage you all to complete the evaluation for today's conference. You'll be receiving a link to it after the conference. And I will now pass it off to our presenters. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Mary McLaughlin. Just for the sake of folks who cannot see the screen today, we are going to introduce ourselves so you can recognize our voices. So again, this is Mary at Tompkins Workforce, New York. I am a Caucasian female with dark shoulder-length hair and blue eyes. Today I'm wearing a green dress with a black undershirt. And I have a virtual background that's a bunch of bookshelves loaded with books and plants hanging off of them. And I'm going to turn it over to introduce themselves, Maria at Hempstead Works.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Maria Lombardi. I am the Disability Resource Coordinator down here on Hempstead, in Hempstead, Long Island. I am a Caucasian female, also with blondish shoulder-length hair, as well as a white top, with a background of our American flag and also our town of Hempstead flag. And I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Kathy.
Well, thank you, Maria. My name is Kathy DeAngelo, and I am here in my own home in Oneonta, New York. So you are seeing the window out of my dining room. My hair looks dark, but it is not naturally dark because I am an older woman. But and I'm also wearing blues and greens, so maybe that's the color of the day, Mary. I'm going to turn it over to Alan.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. My name is Alan Sessions. I'm with the CDO Workforce in Oneonta. I am coming to you from my local office. I am a Caucasian male. I have gray hair, wear glasses, and have a beard. I'm wearing a blue shirt with a red tie. And thank you all for coming today. We really appreciate it. I'll pass this off to Mary now.
Thanks, everyone. So welcome to Your Dream, Your Team, Creating Career Pathways for Students with Disabilities. I'm going to start us off with just a legal disclaimer because we do have some grant funding, and then we'll launch into the actual presentation. I'll read it for you. It says, this workforce product was funded by a grant awarded by the U.S. Department of Labor's Employment and Training Administration. The product was created by the recipient and does not necessarily reflect the official position of the United States Department of Labor. The total cost of the Disability Employment Initiative Round 8 program, which funded this product, is $2.5 million. The $2.5 million, that is to say 100%, is funded through United States Department of Labor's Employment and Training Administration grant. The Department of Labor makes no guarantees, warranties, or assurances of any kind, express or implied, with respect to such information, including any on linked sites and including but not limited to accuracy of the information or its completeness, timeliness, usefulness, adequacy, continued availability, or ownership. This product is copyrighted by the institution that created it, and we'll tell you we think it's pretty awesome. So, since we've gone through all of this boring grant stuff, let me start by turning the floor over to Kathy, who's just going to share a bit about the history of our project and how this product came to be. Kathy.
Thanks, Mary. Good morning, everyone. And thank you for the opportunity to give you a little background on the Disability Employment Initiative, as I have worked under this project in New York for the past 11 years, and I am always proud to tell our story. So what is DEI? Well, it's a systems capacity building project. Our mission was to improve the capacity of our career center, career pathways, and workforce systems to serve people with disabilities by providing career training, employment, and support services. The New York State Department of Labor has administered 4 of the 8 rounds of DEI funding. In 2010, I was one of the original 27 DRCs in 28 New York State workforce centers from our round 1 grant of $5 million. Now, to be honest, I was not the most enthusiastic DRC in the group because I couldn't understand how we were going to find individuals willing to give up their Social Security benefits by going back to work. Nor did I think that I was ever going to convince my coworkers that they could or should offer the same services to individuals with disabilities that we provided to other unemployed or underemployed people. The rule at that time was to refer anyone who said that they received Social Security or if they had a disability directly to Access VR. So clearly, round 1 disability resource coordinators had enormous hurdles to jump in those early years. We needed extensive training, as the idea that we could be employment networks and certified benefits planners, we could accept ticket to work assignments, we were supposed to engage local employers and build the capacity and change the culture in our workforce centers. It was overwhelming. So we quickly learned that working as a team and partnering with other agencies was really going to be the key to our success. We all discovered, though, that our Social Security beneficiaries told us very similar stories. They all wanted a better life for themselves and for their families. They were tired of living in poverty, but they were scared to lose what they had. Amazingly, as this project progressed, we discovered that we were the luckiest workers because we were able to help people make their dreams come true. And honestly, what is better than that? Our initial success in round 1 led to more DEI grants being awarded to New York State in round 4, 6, and 8. Round 4 was in a smaller scale. It was 4 local workforce development areas and only 12 DRCs. But they were able to create newer and focused strategies, thinking outside the box, creating these large events and partnerships. And 7,500 individuals with disabilities were served, and nearly 2,400 folks obtained employment. Round 6 had a focus on the workforce system as a whole, rather than just our career centers capacity. So it was even smaller in scope, comprised of just 2 local areas, 6 centers, and 4 disability resource coordinators. But they formed a project council comprised of state partners who offered strategic visions and coordination of our project. They developed an important statewide training that helped us serve people living with HIV and AIDS, and they also tested the reverse career fair model. This project served 300 adults and yielded 180 employment outcomes. And now, here we are today, round 8, Pathways to Employment, targeting youth and young adults with disabilities. And we covered the 3 areas with the 4 DRCs that you see here today. We focus on career pathways programs and systems to make them more inclusive and accessible to these populations. Since 2017, we have served close to 500 youth with disabilities, with hundreds of young people entering unsubsidized employment and receiving industry-recognized post-secondary credentials. And we have created this amazing tool, this online tool, that is the outcome of these 10+ years of collaboration with our other national DEI projects. It's our hope that you're going to find this website training engaging and useful to your organization. The New York State DEI projects have absolutely changed the culture of our workforce centers. Diversity and inclusion means that we serve all people, including individuals with disabilities. While a person may still get that referral to access VR, they also receive information about workshops and trainings and career planning. We've purchased equipment and accessible technology to level the playing field and really make our centers friendly to individuals with disabilities. In conclusion, I'm reminded that these changes took time, but the outcomes have been beyond anything I ever believed possible. Everyone, including all of the young people we work with, have dreams for their futures. And we should always remember that we are but a serious accident or a disease diagnosis away from that label of being disabled. However, living as a person with a disability should not relegate any of us to a life of isolation and poverty. An inclusive workforce needs the representation and talents that folks with disabilities bring. And I hope that you will learn about some useful tools today to keep the DEI project momentum going. And I'm going to turn it over to Mary for a little tour now.
Thanks, Kathy. So one of the things Kathy mentioned is this tool, and this tool is called Your Dream, Your Team, and that's what we're going to take a tour of today, and then we'll talk about how to use it. YourDreamYourTeam.com is a website that was designed to be used by anyone and everyone who cares about the education, career, and financial outcomes of young people who have disabilities. Initially, we created it to promote the building of and support the success of integrated resource teams, but we found it can be just as effective at supporting committees on special education through expansion opportunities and planning for a similar team after graduation. For anyone who's not familiar, an integrated resource team, also known as a dream team, is a group of people who help a young person with disabilities make progress along their career journey. The goal is to help that person earn a stable, sustainable wage, develop a long-term career, and overcome challenges that impact progress towards that goal. Normally, a dream team is led by that person with a disability, perhaps with a helper, and the whole team works together to coordinate services and opportunities through natural supports like family, community-based organizations, and government agencies. In short, it puts a transition-age youth with a disability in charge of a team that looks a lot like a committee on special education and focuses person-centered planning on transition planning and career outcomes. We know that not everyone is familiar with the best practices for helping transition-aged youth with disabilities or the resources available to support someone along their career journey. Many people who want to work towards equity in employment for those with disabilities may not even be aware of dream teams at all. So this website is designed to offer many different ways you can navigate the tools and a lot of helpful resources. In the first place, the landing page is a great location to start for someone who's brand new to integrated resource teams. When you arrive at yourdreamyourteam.com, all you have to know is who you are and what you want to do. You'll find a list of different roles you may serve on a dream team or that you may serve in the community as a whole. From here, you are able to click on the button that best matches your situation, and yourdreamyourteam.com will show you what's available to help you make equity or a career goal happen. A second navigation tool that is very helpful for a lot of users of yourdreamyourteam.com is the About an IR Team menu, also found on the homepage. If you've been invited to be a part of a dream team or a committee on special education, this menu provides insight into the basics of creating, managing, and succeeding with that dream team. For more guidance on how your role fits into those team meetings and how to be a better team member, you can always visit the resource library written just for you. And the third navigation tool on yourdreamyourteam.com is the Job Seeker's Journey menu. This is a great starting point for young people who are trying to figure out if a dream team is right for them or if they need to expand their committee on special education. They may be someone interested in working on a goal towards careers independently, or just looking to take on a big topic at their next team meeting. Users select the topic of choice to get an overview of what resources are available to help, pro tips, and an explanation of why this step matters in the job seeker's journey. There's even a workbook that you can use to walk through the whole job seeker's journey one step at a time. And that workbook was shared as a part of the resources for today's presentation. Let's take a look at a couple of tools. One of my favorites is the communication plan. And another favorite that we'll take a look at in just a minute is the action plan. These two plans or tools are extremely versatile and have a lot of uses inside of dream teams and can be useful as a part of your toolkit for committees on special education as well. The communication plan works like a team contact list, so everyone always knows who they can call on for help with specific topics and when they're next scheduled to connect. It's great for students and families, especially as they start looking at who they can rely on for support after graduation from high school. The action plan gives you space to break big goals into achievable steps. For transition age students and families, it's a great way to put the IEP or a 504 plan into your own words. Having deadlines built in, like in this action plan that's on the yourdreamyourteam.com platform, you'll also know exactly what to expect from whom and when. It's perfect for planning what you need to do to continue meeting with your dream team once you graduate, even if some of your members have to change when you leave the K-12 system. Both these tools are meant to be shared with your whole dream team, making it possible to keep momentum between meetings and ensuring that every team member knows who this transition age student can connect to for help. Dream teams aren't meant to replace the Committee on Special Education. They're a way to extend what you can do with your CSE and help you connect your IEP or 504 plan goals to other supports as you plan your career. Tools like these support self-reliance and self-advocacy and can help students take ownership of their future. We're going to interrupt this tour just so I can put Maria on the spot, because Maria has a great example of how tools from yourdreamyourteam.com have impacted CSE activities of a student she knows. Maria, are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you, Mary. Yes, and good morning, all. My experience with CSE meetings is a very personal one. About as personal as it gets. My experience is not that of a disability resource coordinator here in Hempstead, but is that of a mother of a child with a disability. My daughter was diagnosed with a learning disability at a very young age by the Early Intervention Program of New York. And I can tell you that I have attended more than my share of CSE meetings and annual review meetings over the years. Having attended these CSE meetings and annual reviews over the years, sometimes accompanied by a parent advocate and most times not, all the time surrounded by the school professionals that were dictating, suggesting, and guiding my child's education and ultimately her future. I know firsthand how daunting, emotional, and overwhelming these meetings can be on a parent and, of course, on the child that is at the center of the meeting, or at least should be. I can tell you that it was through my work as a disability resource coordinator during my daughter's middle school years when I finally learned that, yeah, she too can not only attend the meetings, but she could in fact lead them. It was news to me, and it was news to my daughter. And I can certainly tell you that once she was invited to attend, since then, lead them she has. As the parent of a child with a disability, you find yourself at these meetings worrying about the decisions you are making for your child and wondering if you're making the right ones. The process becomes a little easier, and I became a little more confident in these decisions once my daughter joined the process. She now knows the names of everyone attending her meetings, including their titles, as well as what role they play in her education. When we talk about the team and your dream, your team, this is exactly what I mean. And this tool right in front of you is one of the tools you can use during a CSE meeting and beyond. She is learning that in life, there are times you can sometimes go it alone and make your plans and set your goals. And she's also learning that in life, there are other times, some very critical times, that going alone is not the best option, especially when it is so much easier to surround yourself with the people, the team that can support you in achieving your goals, one attainable goal at a time. Having worked together with my colleagues on Your Dream, Your Team, and having developed some of the tools you'll see here on this tour, I can honestly say that these tools really can help you and your youth plan their futures, setting goals and milestones along the way while checking off barriers and then eliminating them and replacing them with accomplishments and success. Listen, life, making decisions about your disability, education, employment, and your future can be challenging enough. We hope Your Dream, Your Team, designed with the supports, tools, best practices, and enough information, hopefully to make the road not yet traveled a little less daunting and a little less bumpy, leaving you and your team more time to concentrate on your youth and our children's abilities rather than their disabilities. Okay. Mary, I'm passing it back to you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. There's one more tool I like to say is one of my favorites, and I'll confess right now, I'm totally cheating. My next favorite tool on the yourdreamyourteam.com platform is actually the resource libraries. There is one for almost every type of team member you would find on a dream team or in a committee on special education, including for caring adults, parents, for example, or caregivers, school professionals, community-based organization professionals, and even students themselves. Inside this resource library written for you, you'll discover almost everything you need to be a truly good Dream Team member. Evidence that using this Dream Team model can help tap into other resources like other organizations' staff and funding, suggestions for how to support self-advocacy and independent decision-making, connections to community resources that can help you get community-based activities, work-based learning, and transition planning activities goals met inside your IEP, and a whole lot more. Some of these have videos, many of them linked to other great resources from recognized professionals. There's even a section that has information about important laws related to disability and sustainability to help you keep these projects or these teams ongoing in your future. There is so much that Dream Teams and yourdreamyourteam.com can do to improve outcomes and make workloads lighter for everyone. Teamwork really does make the dream work. Please, after today's presentation, don't hesitate to connect with any of the disability resource coordinators on this call today for personalized recommendations on what will help you. We've finished our tour for the day, but now I want to take a few minutes and give all of our areas a chance to show you what Dream Teams can do and what expanding committees on special education might help you do beyond what you thought originally. We're going to start with Maria, who's going to help us see how Dream Teams have been supportive of young people with justice involvement. Maria.
And Maria, is it all right if I, this is Helen, if I jump in and ask a question from the chat?
Sure.
Awesome. So the question is your organization specific to the regions you are located, or can your organization be accessed by families and schools in nearby regions?
I'll take that
If
you'd like, unless you want to, Maria.
Go ahead, absolutely.
All right, so this is Mary. So this website, yourdreamyourteam.com, was actually designed to be accessible and useful across the entire state of New York. So you will find regional resources as well as statewide resources. If you're coming from outside of New York, you'll still find it a very useful tool, but you may find that a few things are specific to New York, so you'll have to do a little extra work to find the local equivalent. The career centers that each of us are located at generally offer services in kind of a tiered sense, which is to say that some services you can access no matter where you're coming from, and others are specific on where you're located. The nice thing is that there is a career center that will cover every county in New York State. In fact, there are career centers across the entire country that offer very similar services. So you are very welcome to contact one of our offices, since you'll have our contact information at the end of today's presentation. But there may be an office closer to you that's more convenient for in-person visiting when that's permissible. And we can certainly help you locate that office if you're having some troubles finding those.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Right. Good morning again. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for helping out with answering that question. And yes, my name is Maria Lombardi again, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about a team that's been developed through the course of our project to assist our youth, justice-involved youth, with the criminal justice system, and just trying to help them get a little unstuck and help them move forward with their lives. What I'm going to talk to you today about is the Breaking Barriers Project. And the criminal justice system is represented by the scales of justice, symbolizing fairness and equality. And if there's one thing that our youthful ex-offenders are perfectly aware of, it's that involvement in the criminal justice system and life following an arrest and conviction is at times anything but fair, equal, and just. We have so many youth participants in our program that have experienced involvement on some level or another with the criminal justice system. Their convictions and their crimes vary, but their stories are all relatively the same. Once they're convicted, their lives are never the same again. Who do you know that's been convicted whose life has ever been the same, if ever you've known anyone? Many of our youth participants are hopeful for a better future and want to make a change from their past, which is why they come to us, the career centers, for guidance and for assistance in helping them to move forward and reshape their lives. They come to us from varying backgrounds, but they all have the same hope for the future. The focus of our youth program, the DEI Round 8 grant, as well as all the other grants preceding this one, and our Your Dream, Your Team website is to improve education and employment outcomes for our youth participants. As the youth begin our career pathways to employment program, we consider their past experiences and education as we begin creating a roadmap for their future. Part of the process of developing this roadmap to their dreams is considering opportunities and eliminating barriers. For our youth participants with criminal backgrounds, this means considering their convictions and how they will affect their choices for the future. We have always known that convictions of the past can be a significant barrier to the future of our youth participants. It is a well-known fact that individuals with criminal backgrounds face many barriers to employment. We know this. You don't have to work at a career center to know this. We all know this, particularly with felony convictions. The Your Dream, Your Team website is a tool that can be used to explore career pathways for multiple groups, including justice-involved youth, families, even school professionals and providers. The website is a tool designed to help you plan for your future and brings together the individuals who can help you to achieve your dreams. We know that justice-involved youth with disabilities are disproportionately represented in the criminal justice system. This fact makes it even more important that we provide whatever resources and support to our youth to help them overcome these barriers that they face in their futures from their convictions in their past. And you'll see right up here on your screen one of the tools that we like to use with our justice-involved youth. While the youth in our K through 12 school systems may not yet know it, they will learn soon after they graduate and as they transition into post-secondary life that some of their convictions may actually prevent them from obtaining licenses and certifications in order to obtain employment in various fields, including certified nursing assistant, otherwise known as CNA, emergency medical technicians, people driving by rescuing you when you have an accident or when you have an injury at home, x-ray technicians, the real estate professionals, home inspection professionals, daycare, school professionals, CDL drivers, and even certain electrical and barber programs. Many of our youth come to us not knowing the full implications of their convictions. Remember, they're youth, they're young, they're still learning. Or there are restrictions that they are facing in their careers from these convictions. I was introduced to Ms. Elizabeth Justison and the Breaking Barriers Project at a conference held right here at Hofstra University, not too far from here, in 2018. I was drawn to the Breaking Barriers workshop simply because I wanted to learn all that I could learn to help our justice-involved youth participants reshape their lives. The Breaking Barriers Project is based out of Touro Law School out in Suffolk County and is also sponsored by the Legal Aid Society of Suffolk County. The services are invaluable as well as absolutely free to clients, which is so critical, especially for ex-offenders coming out of the criminal justice system with no jobs, no families, sometimes no place to live. Money does not come easy to them. Ms. Justison and her team at the project assist clients to order their unsuppressed New York rap sheets. For those of you that don't know, unsuppressed rap sheets include more information than the typical suppressed copies that employers are usually able to obtain. Law students, supervised by practicing attorneys at Breaking Barriers, review clients' rap sheets and help clean them up. Once the information obtained on the rap sheets is verified, the attorneys at Breaking Barriers assist their clients by applying for the certificates which will remove barriers to employment in many occupations and assist them in achieving educational licenses and certificates for which they might otherwise be ineligible. How do you move on in life if you can't move forward from your past? Current statistics show that approximately 70%, that's 70% of rap sheets have an error on them. When I heard that, I was completely blown away. How could something so important to a person's life have so many mistakes on it? That is why it is so important that the information is verified and corrected in order for us to be able to help guide our youth into the career pathways programs they're interested in pursuing. Ms. Justison was able to uncover that one of our own youth participants had a rap sheet which contained information on it that should have been sealed. The rap sheet was supposed to be sealed. Well, the youth participant had been unsuccessful in obtaining employment for many months working with us prior to this discovery on her rap sheet by the Breaking Barriers Project and Ms. Justison. Once Ms. Justison and the Breaking Barriers team uncovered this information on her rap sheet, she quickly guided the youth, assisted her in having her records finally officially sealed. This resulted in the youth participant finally applying for and successfully obtaining employment. Finally, just as we convene our teams to assist and guide our justice-involved youth with their career pathways goals using some of the tools you will find in the Your Dream, Your Team website, so can you form the same types of teams at your next CSC or annual review meeting. The meeting, along with Your Dream, Your Team website, can be a venue for tackling the challenges faced by justice-involved youth or students as you plan their future along with them. One of the tools we like to use during our meetings is this one right here, the employment goal setting tool you see in front of you. The form begins with, as you'll see, your plan, and then leads into your goals, followed by action steps to reach these goals. Following an arrest and conviction, youth may need to rethink their employment and career goals after high school. This is a tool useful to help youth map out not only their educational goals while they're attending K through 12, but then post-secondary school. And then it can also help them map out their short-term and long-term career goals after school is over. Additional steps in this tool, as you'll see on your screen, include expected outcomes, such as assessments, financial literacy courses, tutoring, and work readiness activities. Preparing for success touches on key aspects of job search and employment, such as transportation, professional attire, childcare. Rounding out this tool are the job seeker responsibilities and career counselor responsibilities, which could very easily be substituted with student responsibilities and school counselor responsibilities. This is just one of the tools you can find on Your Dream, Your Team. There are many more to help you and your students and youth as you look towards their futures. The Breaking Barriers Project has assisted us in guiding our youth participants with their career pathways goals and entering them into training programs of their choice and of which they would otherwise have been denied. Once the legal path has been cleared, the Breaking Barriers Project, Your Dream, Your Team website takes over and is the instrumental part of the career exploration process, which also brings together the agencies and the people in the participants' lives that can help them to achieve their goals and dreams. With Breaking Barriers and Your Dream, Your Team, our youth participants learn from their past and look to the future towards a better and successful future and life. We hope that you will explore the website the next time you plan your next meeting with your children, students, families, and agency partners. As an added note, through the work of both myself and my colleagues here on this presentation, there has been growing interest about the Breaking Barrier Project and the tireless and rewarding work that Ms. Justison and her team are doing here on Long Island. So much interest that Ms. Justison and her team on this project have now extended their assistance to other legal aid society offices in upstate New York regions and the ex-offenders that they serve. Breaking Barriers has connected with these areas outside of Long Island, probably in the town close to you, to raise awareness and improve education on the topic, hoping to improve the lives of ex-offenders and the families throughout New York State and to reduce recidivism in the process. And with that, I'd like to hand it off to Kathy and Alan, my colleagues over in upstate New York that we're speaking of, to talk to you about disability and disclosure. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Maria. That was a great presentation. I have to apologize. I'm having technical issues, so I am calling in at this point, but that won't stop us. Kathy and I are going to talk about the Americans with Disabilities Act in workforce accommodations. While many of you understand the laws regarding services for students in K through 12, things change once they graduate from high school and enter the workplace or a higher education. Once the IEP that allowed a student to be successful is no longer being used, how can a young person level the playing field for themselves in the workplace or at college? The answer is self-advocacy and requesting accommodations. Kathy, can you get us started?
Thanks, Alan. Let's start with the law, the ADA. It's a landmark law which secures rights to equal opportunity and access for people with disabilities. With regard to employment, this law specifically states that it does not require any job seeker to disclose a disability. Before making a job offer, the employer can only ask if you are able to do the essential functions of the job you are applying for. You are under no obligation to reveal any condition that you have unless you need an accommodation to complete the application and the interview process.
That's true, Kathy. Employers cannot directly ask about an individual's disability in job applications, written questionnaires, or during interviews. After the employer extends you a job offer, the employer can request a physical or other health exam, as long as this is required of all new employees in the same position. This process could result in questions that are likely to reveal the existence of a disability and a discussion of whether or not you will be able to perform the job tasks required. These essential functions are the reason that the employer is looking to hire someone. For instance, if you are hired as a front desk clerk, you would be required to answer phones, use a computer, provide customer and clerical assistance. These are the essential functions of the job. However,
Occasionally, there might be a need to lift a heavy carton of paper. If a person wasn't physically able to do this marginal task, they would still be qualified to be a front desk clerk.
That's right, Alan. You can be sure that my days of lifting heavy cartons are over, but I can still do my job. However, this leads us to an important section of the ADA law. Sometimes a worker with a disability might need to request an accommodation due to their medical condition. This could include asking for a modification in a work assignment, or a change in the physical setting, or maybe just a change in the way things are usually done. In this instance, the ADA does allow an employer to request documentation of your disability from a medical provider before addressing any of your requests. Individuals can ask for accommodation verbally, in writing, by email, or someone else can make that request for you. But we believe it is important that it be documented so you have a paper trail. The best practice to getting an accommodation approved is to remain positive and focused on what you need to perform the job duties efficiently. While you can ask for a specific accommodation, the employer gets to decide if they are able to and how they are going to fulfill your request. For our young people, this is where they need to understand what they need in order to produce good work. Did they have extended time to complete work in school? Did they have tests and work read to them? Did they have to work in a quiet or a separate location? If they did, then these accommodations might likely need to be extended to them at work or in college or whatever post-secondary training they're taking. Since these things don't automatically happen outside the school environment, we need to be sure that they have the ability to self-advocate.
Since it is often hard for someone to bring up their need for an accommodation, Your Dream, Your Team provides a Disclosing Your Disability worksheet, as well as other resources about when and how to disclose a disability and successfully request an accommodation. Check out our best practices for discussing a disability and accommodation with an employer, and resources to help individuals navigate the whole disclosure and accommodation process in a positive and effective manner. Mary, would you like to discuss a benefit advisement?
Absolutely. Thank you, Alan. And Kathy. It can be scary trying to navigate the idea of working if you're getting disability benefits or supporting a young person who is. There's a lot of confusing information out there about how work will impact cash benefits and or health insurance. And for those young people who are getting SSI, figuring out the redetermination process that happens at age 18 can make the transition conversation feel even more complicated. But it doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to be scary. And families and transition age students and committees on special education don't have to muddle through those questions on their own. Benefits advisors are people who are trained in the ways of the Social Security Administration's work incentives programs. Many of these benefits advisors combat the fear of losing benefits through careful explanation and demonstration of how those work incentives actually work. It's a very personalized experience that usually focuses on the benefits that you or the transition age student in your life are getting. It's not a hypothetical made up number. It's a real situation based on real interests and goals. A benefits advisor can work with a dream team or, with permissions, of course, committees on special education to complete tools like the About My Money worksheet, helping young people and their families find the right work incentives and protecting benefits eligibility, while also planning for perhaps the eventual end of those benefits. Using the About My Money worksheet can reveal that someone may benefit from participating in Ticket to Work, and that benefits advisor can provide an overview of the Ticket to Work program, the benefits of assigning your ticket to a particular provider, and sometimes even introductions to Ticket to Work providers in your community. We want these conversations to be happening in the team setting because family buy-in from caring adults and adults who provide supports in reaching goals is very helpful for transition age youth and students to figure out that it is a good idea. And in the team setting, when you're participating in these conversations, everyone gets to see how easy it is to be in a better place if you're working and getting cash benefits or working long past the end of cash benefits for disabilities. It also makes it easy to see that health insurance stays long past the end of payment of disability benefits. Being a part of benefits advising conversations also is going to give everyone on your team a gentle reminder to set high standards for transition aged youth with disabilities instead of lowered expectations. These conversations will also allow you to take advantage of tools that can help provide needed financial capability or literacy training. Don't forget that some of your community providers are required to provide those kinds of supports. So this is a great way to make sure that your young people, or yourself if you are that young person, has access to the learning you need to understand how your money works for you. It's a lot of information to process. What's on the Your Dream, Your Team website, of course, but then how you can flex your dream team to become a part of your Committee on Special Education or an extension of it. Everyone is a little different, and figuring out how to personalize these tools sometimes takes a little playing around. So again, don't hesitate to reach out with your questions about how to explore and use resources on yourdreamyourteam.com. But I want to turn the floor over now to Kathy and Alan, who actually recently worked with a young person who has an amazing success story that shows how some of these tools came to be very helpful for them. Originally, we had hoped they would come themselves, but it wasn't possible. Kathy and Alan, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Mary. Alan and I are so excited and grateful for those of you that stayed on the call to hear this story, because we have worked with this young person probably for a little bit more than 5 years from when she first showed up. And we know that helping people discover their talents and goals and providing the right supports are going to lead them to make their dreams come true. And we feel really strongly that incorporating financial literacy discussions as soon as you start working with a customer is an essential component of their success. This is Samantha, and she came to our agency with her mom during the summer following her high school graduation when she was 19 years old. She was an SSI recipient due to a genetic disabling condition, and her goals were very specific. She wanted to find a career, get off SSI, and move out on her own. Her family had an old car that they were willing to let her use, so we set her up with a clerical support position under our TANF summer youth program. Alan?
After the summer, Sam enrolled in our out-of-school youth program. I worked with our youth counselor to identify a couple of local employers who are looking for clerical help. Sam worked at a human service agency and a nursing home facility on paid work experiences, providing data entry and calculating account balances.
It became clear to us that Sam was a numbers person, as her supervisors remarked about her ability to create spreadsheets and balance accounts and process paperwork accurately and at a high rate of speed. We discussed enrolling in college, but she was not interested. However, we did provide a few short-term online accounting and Excel courses, which she aced. And as a certified benefits planner, we met monthly to send her pay stubs to Social Security and to determine how much her SSI check would be the following month.
And during the following spring and summer, CDO Workforce hired her to work at our front desk and provide clerical support for the summer youth program. She also found seasonal work in the next 2 years, working in a tax preparation office. During these months, she was able to earn enough money to reduce her SSI check to 0. And during this time, she became a mom.
But Samantha was determined to find full-time work as she now had a child to take care of. And this was also the year that CDO received our current Round 8 DEI grant. So she met with Alan, who helped her with a few job referrals, and also set up a tour of a local bank who was doing a presentation on banking careers. How did that go, Alan?
Well, Sam was excited about the tour and maybe seeing if she would like to work and have a career in banking. However, after the presentation, she told me that she definitely could not see herself working in a bank. So we refocused on clerical and accounting jobs. And Sam finally found full-time work as a front-end clerk at a local accounting firm.
I met with Samantha after she received her first full-time paycheck, and we talked about opening an ABLE account. She had been saving money and having her mother hold the money so that it would not affect her SSI or Medicaid benefits. So now she was able to gain financial independence by having those funds in her own ABLE savings account. She also moved $50 biweekly from her pay and deposited her EITC tax refunds as well. And the first summer following this new job, Sam and her boyfriend and daughter took her first real vacation to Myrtle Beach. She was so excited to send me this picture. In the fall of 2020, she gave birth to her son and achieved her final goal. She had saved $6,800 in her ABLE account, and she purchased her own home, utilizing first-time homebuyers funding. She is living the life she wants because with strong benefits counseling and financial planning, she was brave enough to give up the SSI for herself and the public assistance for her kids. She understood what we all know. Dreams cost money. Sam returned to work in November, and I can't wait to watch her establish new dreams. I am confident that she has the tools to be successful in anything she chooses. Okay, I think we're going to turn it back to Helen, and we'll look for some questions for the next couple of minutes.
Fantastic. Thank you. That was such an awesome story, and hearing how much you were able to help her. It's fantastic. We do have one question in the chat for now. It says, can you give more specific information on self-advocacy for students in college? And I know that the story you guys just told kind of touched on that, although she didn't attend college, she was college age, but any more information you have would be great.
Mute. The unmute. See, at the end, I can't unmute. But I actually do have some suggestions. And the number one suggestion I have when I have a young person who wants to attend college is to find the disability office at their school. Almost every school I have worked with has someone that is really fluent in disability rights and accommodations and what youth need to do. The problem is that a lot of young people, once they get out of high school, want to be kind of just like everybody else. We all want to be just like everybody else. And so often they fail to take that step until they are in trouble. And then it's a kind of catch-up thing. So I always advise, as part of their tour or part of their contact with any college they are hoping to go to make that connection, as well as whatever else is going on. And it always seems to make a great deal of difference. They know who to go to when they stumble. And that's what you need, because it's different in college. They have to learn how to do that themselves.
Fantastic recommendation. That is the only question in there. If there's anyone who's called in and has a question, feel free to select *6 on your phone to unmute yourself and ask it, or put any more questions in the chat. I'll give it a few more minutes, and if we've got nothing, then we can end a little bit early.
I just would like to add, I received a question directly to me regarding the Miss Justison and the Breaking Barriers project, and whether there's a project or office near her. And I wanted you to know that you can please feel free to reach out to either myself at the email that you see in front of you, or Miss Elizabeth Justison at the Breaking Barriers project and the Legal Aid Society of Suffolk County. Might be easier for you to just reach out to me, and I'd be happy to connect you with Miss Elizabeth Justison. All right, feel free. Okay, she does a lot of great work, and everything is free, and that's just invaluable.
One thing, this is Mary, I'll just follow up on the question of self-advocacy. One thing that people often forget is that the tools and resources and options for how to accommodate yourself or request modifications in college classes can be a little different from what you're familiar with in the school setting, the high school setting. And what is wonderful is that there are programs called TRAID, TRAID, that can often help you can do an assessment and will observe you in a school or even in a work setting to help you figure out what changes you may need to really shine and exceed expectations and be competitive in the classroom setting or the workplace setting. And often those groups will not only help you figure out what your options are, they can help you get, if it's technology specifically that you need, they can often help you connect with that technology for little or no cost. Thank you for sharing the trade directory in the chat, Helen. I appreciate that. And what's really lovely is that often groups like Access VR in New York State, or the New York State Commission for the Blind, or the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities can help you connect with your local trade organization or find other resources if the recommendations didn't really fit what you were looking for. And so that is another excellent resource for self-advocacy in post-secondary in the workplace.
Awesome. Well, we have no other questions in the chat. So thank you all for attending today. Enjoy your lunch break, and
Hey, wait. Sorry, someone shared a direct chat with me. This is information. The person says, these school-age family and community engagement centers across New York State now have a training to help families understand and start the student-directed IEP process. So if you're looking for more resources to support expanding the IEP process to be inclusive of students, or yourself if you are the student, reach out to your local engagement center. Sounds like they have some extra resources that can help you take advantage of your junior team.